Okay, welcome to the video of live tropical fish shipping. Uh, right now I'm shipping at -7 degrees Celsius, 20 Fahrenheit in winter in Wisconsin. So what you need is styrofoam sheets cut into right sizes for the box, and we need wool to cover up the boxes. You don't really need the wool all the time, but then it helps to provide additional insulation. And I already taped the box and everything is ready, so I'm just going to put the wool in the bottom just to provide additional weatherproofing, plus it's going to act as a buffer when the box is moving here and there. And yes, just place it wherever you like it, and just make sure it's all around, in case somebody drops the box, or maybe if someone places the box outside in winter, yeah, it shouldn't be a conductor. So once the box is where the full wool is ready, I'm putting the styrofoam base sheet and make it as tight as possible so that there is no gap between the different layers of styrofoam. So yeah, I'm going to double wall this box. The thickness of the styrofoam I have is much smaller than what it's like 0.75. It actually measures up to 0.5. So I want to add one more layer, so yeah, it's a double walled box. If you cut it and keep it ready at least a day in advance, it's always going to be helping. So I usually prepare the boxes either on the weekends, or keep it ready at least days before I really ship the fish. I spot some gaps there, so just fill it with wool wherever possible. Take a small piece of wool and fill it there. Now the box is ready. Don't have to worry about it anymore. It should be able to uh, prevent any weather changes affecting the fish, and the wool also will help again some more. When I see from other shippers, when they ship the fish to me in winter, I don't see them using any wool. They just use a single line styrofoam box. Seems to always help the fish. I never really had problems with inbound shipping. Yeah, I believe this should be more than enough for any weather. Okay, now the box is ready. Let's go to the fish. So right now the fish are in a temporary holding tank. It's not a holding tank, it's a bucket, just filled with clean water with ship safe. I usually put the fish, starve them for 2 days before I prepare them for shipping. So once they are once I've got everything ready for the shipping, I just put them in the temporary box just to make sure if at all any waste, uh, fish waste is excreted here rather than in the shipping bags. So half an hour or 1 hour here should be fine. Just make sure the temperature of the water is normal. Don't place it in outside or somewhere where it's very cold. So as you can see, there are lots of Mbuna there. Okay. Uh, Again, another important factor when shipping in winter is the heat packs. They need to be ready at least half an hour to 1 hour before you ship the fish. They take time to warm. Just make sure the the red line there, it's always facing outside, or it's not being blocked by any either box or a tape or any other material. That's an important factor there. So I'm going to mark which side is the red line, just to before I pack it. It's always good to wrap it up with a paper, so that water does nothing else gets inside the heat pack and spoils it. I usually use the 40 hours, but then I also use 72 hours in case of any delays. 72 hours heat pack is little heavier, so if weight is a constraint, I try to use the 40 hour wherever possible. So it's the same for the 72 hour as well. Just pack it and keep it ready. Okay, now moving on to the fish. I'm using a 4 mm thickness bag, 6 inches wide and 20 inches high. I don't need to really use that big a bag, but that's the size we get. 6 inches will help the fish, a little bit of movement, and give as little water as possible. Again, it's clean water, not the water taken from this holding tank as well. So I'm just Catching the fish, it's an yellowfin mabamba. It's very colorful. It's an adult male. Just dropping it gently into the bag. Yeah, so now the fish is ready. As you can see, the water is really low. It's just enough for the fish to, you know, move around. That should be good enough. Yeah, and it'll also help us give more air while you're filling. So I'm using an impulse sealer. What I'm doing here is giving a small gap on the side, and I'm sealing everything else. I left the gap just to fill the oxygen in. So yeah, so you can see the gap there. Yeah, that's where it is. So now I'm using a regular oxygen from oxygen cylinder, which is available in local hardware stores. I don't have any specific supply for this. I just take it from nearby hardware store. So once you fill the air, and since the gap is very small, the air doesn't really escape fast, the oxygen filled air, so you can actually take it and seal it back. This is something which I've been doing for a while now. Not sure if the best way, if some of you have any better suggestion to use heat sealers, let me know. Definitely we can try something different, but it seems to work for me now. So I go back and seal the bag fully. One more seal just below the last seal. So now the first thing I will do is take it out gently, so that the bag is not getting any gaps in that. So I just verify if there's any holes or anything else in the bag. I turn it upside down just to confirm. And I also want to make sure, sometimes you want to add an additional seal if you prefer. One seal should be good enough. I'm just showing you giving an additional seal doesn't really affect anything, so just go ahead and do it. Now the second part is the double bagging. Again, I'm using another 4 mm thick bag. These bags are really good. I never seen them really be punctured. So yeah, I always had problems with rubber bands and tying, but after I moved to the heat sealing, I never really had any complaints of water leaking from the bags. And it also adds an additional insulation, having a very thick bag. So yeah, the second bag is in and heat sealed again. So now our bag is ready. And having the heat sealer actually allows maximum size for the bag, to fill the air. And it also when you're arranging, you don't have to worry about the other factors. Okay, so now all the packs are ready. I have 5 fish here, 4 Mbuna, almost like 4-inch Mbuna, 4 to 5-inch Mbuna, and a small Frontosa. So they're already in the bag. Keep them as packed as possible so that they don't move. And I'm going to fill up. Okay, I'm keeping the heat pack on the one side, and one more heat pack will go on the top, and fill the gaps with wool so that the bags don't move. And they're already pretty puffed with air, so they shouldn't move. But then it's not that tight, they won't burst in case a small pressure or something applied on them. So now we're ready. Now we're ready to keep the top styrofoam. I already placed the heat pack, 72 heat pack there, and just cover it. At times I also on top of the styrofoam I try to cover with some wool or some other material, packing material, just to add additional warmth. So that's it. This shipment made fine, and my last few shipments, or most of my shipments, after I started using the impulse sealer, have been working very good. So that's it.